Shalom, welcome back to Flipping Pages, Stirring Sauces. And if it's your first time here, welcome. Please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. It is 4 o'clock in the morning, actually 4:06 in the morning. I am in my bed, but I'm awake. I am too lazy to go downstairs. But I wanted to do a short video, and some people are going to be upset about what I'm about to say, but the truth has to be told, and some people find the truth offensive. Now, I don't live in Jamaica, but believe me when I tell you that my pulse is on Jamaica. I speak to people in Jamaica every hour. And I speak to people all over Jamaica. I speak to people in Westmoreland. I speak to people in Clarendon. I speak to people in Portmore. I speak to people in St. James. So I speak to people in the east, in the west, in the north, and in the south, and even in the central part of Jamaica. And sometimes I will speak to maybe 12 different people in an hour who were living in Jamaica. And so sometimes I get the news about what is happening in Jamaica before it hits mainstream media or even some of the other platforms, because if there's a shooting, people are often on the scene and send me pictures, videos, which I will never share on this platform because some of them are quite graphic and gruesome and vile. And so I will not share them. So yeah, when I say that my pulse is on Jamaica, it is on Jamaica. And I'm gonna say that the worst thing that has ever happened to Jamaicans is Christianity and the worship of this impostor called Jesus. Now, the person who was sent to the house of Israel, his name was Yahushua, and he was sent as a messenger, not as a savior. Our spiritual teachings and rituals and customs have been corrupted and have been switched around. The oppressor tells us that the Creator says to love our enemies as ourselves. But then the Creator says, if your right hand offend you, chop it off. Well, that's a contradiction, isn't it? And the Creator is not a creator of confusion. So you have to be able to identify the hijacks. And when these oppressors stole our history, stole our language, and forced Christianity upon us, they rewrote our holy book. And they knew that this day would come when we would wake up to the reality of who we are. And so they manipulated the situation so that when we come to the realization of how brutally they have treated us, that we would take it easy on them, because the Creator said to love our enemies as ourselves. That's a hijack. And you think about this. Why would somebody who literally cut our ancestors' breasts off their chest and use it as a tobacco pouch want to save our souls? Why would they want us to go to this wonderful place they call heaven? Somebody who hates us that much, who would remove our ancestors' penis and put him in a house as a house slave. He didn't trust his wife or himself around us, around our men. And believe it or not, it's about penis envy. And they would beat us mercilessly, sometimes to death. There's a song about strange fruit, and that's about the lynching and black bodies hanging from trees, men, women, children, boys, girls. And they used us as sexual toys. And that priest, or that pope, whose son is depicted as our savior, he was a very vile and corrupt man. He was a sadist, and he was a deviant, and nothing is new under the sun. The deviant practices that are being forced on everyone these days took place even back then. Now, Jamaica has the highest number of churches per capita in the world, and they have one of the highest, if not the highest, murder rate in the world. And Jamaica is in crisis. The leader is a devil's spawn, and he's now switched to the salami method. He told us that Jamaica was going to implement digital currency, and then he turned around and said that's not what he meant, and how could he go cashless when he just ordered new money, and told a bag of lies. So now he's using the salami method. We're not going to shove all of that down their throat at once, but little by little we are going to implement our nefarious plans. And they plan, and recently Canada announced countries that could come from the Caribbean that could come here without visas, and Jamaica was not on that list, and Jamaicans are jumping up and down about it and making a big deal out of it. Do not make a big deal out of it. Do not jump up and down about it. Stay in Jamaica and build Jamaica, because when you run away from Jamaica, it allows others who wants to take over the island to come in and take your place. And so don't be upset about that. They're actually doing you a favor in keeping you off that list. You see, the thing is, Jamaica, as one of the largest deeply melanated population outside of the continent of Africa, and they don't really want the deeply melanated people here, and they particularly do not want Jamaicans, because that they know that we're a patient people, but when we've been pushed too far, we will stand up and we will crush them. And they know that. They know that we don't really put up with nonsense and bullcrap. And the other thing is, a great number of the Creator's chosen people reside on that little island, and they know that as well. And their whole thing is to stomp out the Creator's chosen people. It is not going to happen, because the more they try to oppress us, the more we rise. And that has always been the issue for them, to keep the Creator's children down. And they literally think that they're going to take us back into captivity. No, the Creator said that our last captivity was our final captivity. And anyway, I was saying that Christianity is the worst thing that has happened to Jamaicans, and it is, because all of those religions, Protestant, Catholic, Methodist, Baptist, they all come out of the Roman Catholic Church. And it was a Roman Catholic Pope that signed the document called the Papal Bull, which is a papal bulletin, which allowed Queen, was it, is it Queen Elizabeth I, or was it Queen Victoria? Well, anyway, one of those royal misfits, so-called royal misfits, it was the Pope who signed and issued the papal bull along with the so-called monarchy that allowed us to be taken into captivity and allowed our lands to be taken away, and for them to claim that we're lost at sea and that they're keeping the land for us. But they knew that we would come to the realization of who we are. And I heard something recently that I found so startling. They don't believe that Africans can take care of their own artwork. The artwork they created and took care of before these oppressors came along. And they have the African artwork in their museums, making money off of it and refusing to give it back. May the Creator help you when that artwork starts to turn on you. The Benin bronze you have, you will be beaten with it, literally. So continue holding on to what is not yours. But Jamaica and their Christianity, and you sometimes, you give them the facts, you read it to them, you write it down, you chew it up, and you put it in their mouth, and they spit it back out and ask you to swallow it for them and digest it for them. They don't want to read. They don't want to research. They want to be spoon-fed after you've chewed up the food for them. They spit it back out and say, chew it up some more, when all they have to do is swallow. And it's just laziness. There was a time when our freedom to read was taken away from us. We have that freedom back. Make use of it. They're burning the books. They're banning the books because they don't want us to know our true history. And the day is going to come when the internet is going to be shut down. And you're going to wish you had taken the opportunity to know who you are, where you're coming from, and where you're supposed to go. And when they cut the power grid, and when their weapons of mass destruction no longer work, a lot of us are going to be lost because we're not going to know what to do with ourselves. People don't talk to each other anymore in person. People don't sit outside and commune. People don't tell their neighbors good morning. And even the little children, all they know about is this. People are so cold and isolated. And that needs to change. We need to go back to community living. And all the songs, my goodness, we have some talented, inspirational people coming out of Jamaica. And all you're hearing about these days is bless me cocky, bless me pussy, wind up, wind up. And pardon my language, but that's all you're hearing about. People are obsessed with the reproductive organs. Every song, there's garbage coming out of Jamaica. Garbage. You've lost yourself on the world stage when it comes to music and lyrics and vocals. You've lost your way. And the amount of idol worshipping that's going on the island. Put away your idol worship, turn to the Creator, and worship the Creator in spirit and in truth. If the Bible is to be believed, the man they refer to as Jesus said, to worship the Lord your God in spirit and in truth, and worship Him with all your heart. This man never told you to worship Him. Your book, your spiritual book, has been changed and has been replaced by religion. And religion will give you a straight path into the pit of hell. Develop a spiritual relationship with the Creator and watch Him baruch you. Watch Him do miracles in your life. At the time that Donnelly Donaldson was allegedly murdered, was there construction going on nearby? Is Donnelly Donaldson encased in cement? Is she inside of a wall or under a cement floor? Some food for thought. Reverend Moore was murdered by people in high places. The laws of gravity and physics do not lie, and they do not jive with the official story that has been put out. Who do they think they're talking to? You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you couldn't sell that story to a 3-year-old. Nobody's buying, nobody's biting. You need to tell the truth. You see, a lot of people have taken up Crafty Council against the Jamaican people. and they're murdering the uncorruptible. How much is a child's life worth? No MRI machines, no CT machines, no ultrasound machines in the hospitals in the corporate area. None of these are working, none are available. Well, if the child couldn't get to the machine, then the machine should have been brought to the child. And yes, it would cost a lot of money to do that. But how much is a child's life worth? You see, the people who are currently running the country, when they need medical attention or their children need medical attention, they're flown out of the country to private hospitals in other countries. Melanated people, they don't give a damn about you. And it's time you stood up and say no more. We're taking back what is ours. We're being disobedient. The government doesn't tell us what we are going to do or what they are going to do. We tell them what we want them to do. They are civil servants. They do what we want, not the other way around. People need to realize that and understand that and stop being afraid of these bullies. Stand up and fight back. And whatever they tell you to do, you tell them no. They cannot put the entire country in jail. The people have the power. Remember that. I give you my peace. I give you my ahab. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And by the way, when a person has less than 300 subscribers and they're shadow banned, you know that they're doing something correct. Shalom. One other thing. You find the red-headed Negro woman, you will find the murderer of Daniel. Good morning.